The False Hand of Peace. The Galactic Empire's emissary, a tall and imposing figure draped in golden robes, stepped onto the polished platform in the heart of Earth's capital. His reptilian eyes scanned the crowd gathered before him, their expressions a mix of curiosity and caution. Hovering cameras broadcasted the scene to billions across the galaxy. "My esteemed friends," the emissary began, his voice smooth and calculated, "the Galactic Empire extends its hand of peace to humanity. After years of conflict, we offer unity. Together, we can usher in an era of prosperity and mutual growth." The crowd murmured, some hopeful, others skeptical. For decades, the Empire had treated humanity as an obstacle in its quest for galactic domination. Why this sudden change of heart? President Eleanor Gray, a seasoned leader with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor, sat silently at the negotiation table. She had seen too many of the Empire's games to trust this sudden gesture. But the pressure was immense. Humanity's resources were stretched thin, its colonies barely holding on. "Your words are promising," President Gray replied, her tone measured. "But history has taught us to look beyond promises. What guarantees do we have that your offer is genuine?" The emissary smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Our emperor believes in reconciliation. We offer trade agreements, technology sharing, and a seat at the Council of Systems. These are not mere words, they are commitments." In a secure bunker beneath the capital, Earth's intelligence team watched the live broadcast with grim faces. Commander Jason Harlow leaned over a holographic table, his brow furrowed. "This doesn't add up," Harlow said, his voice heavy with suspicion. "The Empire doesn't back down. Why now? What's their angle?" Dr. Sophia Lin, the team's lead strategist, tapped on the holographic display, pulling up intercepted transmissions. "We've been monitoring their fleet movements. They're consolidating near the Helios sector, close to our outer colonies. It doesn't look like they're preparing for peace." Harlow nodded. "Exactly. This peace offer is a distraction. They want us to lower our guard." General Marcus Cole, a grizzled veteran with decades of battle experience, slammed his fist on the table. "Then we don't play along. We prepare for war. But we can't ignore the offer entirely," Sophia countered. "If we reject it outright, the galaxy will see us as the aggressors. We need proof of their intentions." Back at the negotiation table, the emissary continued his speech, weaving tales of cooperation and unity. But President Gray's attention was elsewhere. A discreet earpiece in her ear buzzed with updates from the intelligence team. "Madam President," Harlow's voice came through. "We've intercepted a coded message from the emissary's ship. It's being sent to the Empire's fleet near Helios. We're working to decrypt it, but this doesn't look good." Gray's jaw tightened, but she maintained her composure. "Understood. Keep me informed." She turned back to the emissary. "Your offer is intriguing, but humanity has suffered greatly at the hands of the Empire. Trust is not built overnight. We will need time to consider your proposal." "Of course," the emissary replied, bowing slightly. "Take all the time you need. The Empire is patient." As the meeting ended, the emissary returned to his ship, a sleek, black vessel that exuded power. Inside, he activated a secure channel to the Imperial High Command. "The humans are cautious," he reported, "but they are also desperate. They will consider the offer, which gives us the time we need to complete our preparations." On the other end, a shadowy figure nodded. "Excellent. Once their defenses are down, the Helios fleet will strike. Humanity will have no choice but to surrender." In the bunker, Sophia's eyes widened as the decrypted message appeared on the screen. "It's worse than we thought. The Empire's fleet isn't just consolidating. They're preparing for an invasion. Their target is Earth." Commander Harlow's face darkened. "They think they can trick us into submission. They'll regret underestimating us." General Cole stood, his voice firm. "We can't wait for them to make the first move. If they want to play dirty, we'll show them what humanity is capable of." President Gray's face appeared on the screen, her expression resolute. Then it's decided. We'll play along for now, but we prepare for war. Let the Empire think we're falling for their ruse. When they strike, we'll be ready. The stage was set. The Empire thought humanity would kneel, but humanity had other plans. In the shadows, preparations began for a counterstrike that would shake the galaxy to its core. The humans had learned one vital lesson in their years of struggle. Peace with the Empire was impossible. And this time, they wouldn't just defend, they would fight to win. The ambush. The Galactic Empire's summit was a spectacle of grandeur, held on a neutral moon far from the prying eyes of ordinary citizens. A massive dome of crystal and steel rose from the rocky surface, reflecting the light of nearby stars. Inside, representatives from the Empire and humanity gathered under the pretense of peace. The human delegation entered the chamber with calculated precision. President Eleanor Gray led the group, her sharp suit and calm demeanor giving away no hint of the storm brewing beneath. Beside her walked Commander Jason Harlow, his every step radiating quiet authority. A team of aides and analysts followed, carrying diplomatic tablets and equipment. As the human delegation took their seats at the circular table, the Empire's emissary rose. His golden robes shimmered under the artificial light, his reptilian gaze locking onto the humans. "We welcome our esteemed guests," the emissary began, his voice smooth and polished. "Today marks the beginning of a new chapter. Let us put aside old grievances and forge a path to unity." Behind the facade of polite smiles, humanity's true intentions were unfolding. Commander Harlow discreetly activated a small device hidden in his wristband, sending a signal to the team aboard their stealth ship orbiting the moon. "Surveillance in place," the voice confirmed in his earpiece. Aboard the stealth ship, Dr. Sophia Lynn and her team monitored the summit through advanced listening devices and covered cameras. The Empire's delegation was unaware that every word spoken in their private chambers was being recorded. "They're using encrypted communication channels," Sophia muttered, her fingers flying over the console. "Let's see what they're really up to." Meanwhile, the Empire's emissary droned on about mutual benefits, trade agreements, and the boundless opportunities of cooperation. President Gray nodded occasionally, playing the role of a cautious yet intrigued leader. But as the emissary spoke, Commander Harlow leaned toward Gray and whispered, "We've confirmed it. They're stalling. The Empire's fleet is gathering near the Helios sector." Gray's expression didn't falter. "Then we'll stall them too. Let them think we're considering their offer." The emissary finished his speech with a flourish. "And so I propose we adjourn to private negotiations. We have prepared accommodations for your delegation." Gray nodded. "We appreciate the hospitality. Let us review the terms in detail." Hours later, while the humans were shown to their quarters, Sophia's voice came through Harlow's earpiece. "You need to hear this." In a hidden room, the Empire's emissary was speaking to a shadowy figure through a holographic communicator. "They seem receptive," the emissary reported, his tone smug. "They're taking the bait." The shadowy figure, a high-ranking Imperial admiral, replied, "Good. Keep them distracted. The Helios fleet will be ready to strike in 3 days. By the time they realize what's happening, Earth will be under our control." Commander Harlow's jaw tightened as he relayed the message to President Gray. "They're planning to launch a full-scale invasion. This summit is just a distraction." Gray's eyes narrowed. "Then it's time we turn their distraction into an opportunity." The human delegation regrouped in their quarters, transforming the ornate suite into an improvised war room. "Here's the plan," Gray began, her voice firm. "We'll leave tomorrow, citing the need for further deliberations. But before we go, we're planting advanced surveillance tech to monitor their fleet movements and communications. We need to know exactly when and where they'll strike." Harlow nodded. "I'll handle the installations. They won't see it coming." The next day, the humans bid their farewells, thanking the Empire for their hospitality. As their shuttle departed the moon, the emissary watched from the observation deck, confident that the humans were falling into the Empire's trap. But aboard the shuttle, Commander Harlow activated a secure transmission to Earth. Mission complete. Surveillance devices are in place. Prepare for counterstrike. In the shadowy depths of space, the stage was set for a battle neither side would forget. Humanity's leaders knew the Empire's treachery, but they also knew one undeniable truth. Humanity had never been stronger, and this time, they wouldn't just survive. They would strike first. Humanity's hidden blade. In the void of space, far from the watchful eyes of the Galactic Empire, the UNS Erebus drifted silently among the stars. Cloaked in experimental stealth technology, the Erebus was humanity's ace, an advanced warship armed with cutting-edge weaponry and reconnaissance tools. Its mission was simple: observe the Empire's movements and prepare Earth for the inevitable clash. Commander Jason Harlow stood on the ship's bridge, the glow of tactical screens casting shadows on his determined face. Around him, the crew worked tirelessly, their movements precise and disciplined. They all knew the stakes. This wasn't just about survival. This was about sending a message to the galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated. "Report," Harlow commanded, his voice firm. Lieutenant Sarah Vega, the ship's chief analyst, turned from her console. The surveillance devices planted on the Empire's summit moon are functioning perfectly. We've intercepted fleet communications and pinpointed their staging grounds. Helios sector is crawling with ships, carrier groups, dreadnoughts, and support vessels. How long until they're ready to launch? Harlow asked. 3 days, give or take, Vega replied. They're mobilizing faster than expected. Meanwhile, deep within the Erebus's secure intelligence room, Dr. Sophia Lynn sifted through the intercepted transmissions. Her sharp eyes scanned the encrypted messages, her fingers flying over the console as she pieced together the Empire's strategy. They're positioning their fleet to strike Earth directly, she announced, her voice echoing in the room. But they've left their flanks vulnerable. If we hit their supply lines and communication relays, we can cripple their advance. General Marcus Cole, patched in from Earth's High Command, appeared on a holographic display. His gravelly voice filled the room. Good work, Sophia. But we need more than disruption. We need to strike fear into their hearts. They think we're weak. Let's prove them wrong. Harlow entered the room, his presence commanding attention. We have a chance to turn this war around, but we can't wait for them to come to us. We'll strike their fleet at Helios before they can launch their invasion. The decision was made. The Erebus would leave a small, elite task force in a preemptive strike against the Empire's staging ground. The plan was bold, perhaps even reckless, but humanity thrived on boldness. Harlow gathered the crew for a briefing in the war room. A holographic display of the Helios sector hovered in the center, showing the Empire's fleet formation. We're outnumbered, Harlow began, his voice steady. But we have the element of surprise. Our mission is to disrupt their operations, destroy key assets, and make them think twice about underestimating us. Vega stepped forward, highlighting targets on the hologram. We'll focus on their fuel depots and communication hubs. Without those, their fleet will be paralyzed. And the main fleet? A young officer asked nervously. Harlow's gaze hardened. We won't engage directly unless necessary. This is a surgical strike. Speed and precision are our greatest weapons. As the crew prepared for the mission, the mood aboard the Erebus shifted. Conversations grew quieter, movements more deliberate. Every person knew they were stepping into the lion's den. In the ship's hangar bay, pilots ran final checks on their fighters and bombers. Among them was Lieutenant Mark Rivers, one of the best pilots humanity had to offer. He clenched his helmet tightly, his thoughts a mix of fear and determination. We've got this, Rivers muttered to himself. For Earth. Hours later, the Erebus emerged from its stealth mode on the outskirts of the Helios sector. The sight before them was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. A massive Imperial fleet, its ships gleaming under the light of a distant sun. Targets locked, Vega reported. Fuel depots are clustered near the central carriers. Communications relays are spread across these sectors. Harlow nodded. Launch the fighters. Begin Phase 1. The first wave of humanity's strike was swift and brutal. Squadrons of stealth fighters darted through the void, dropping EMP charges on the Empire's communication hubs. Relays sparked and shattered, plunging the fleet into chaos. Communications disrupted, Vega confirmed, a small smile tugging at her lips. Phase 2 began moments later. The Erebus unleashed its payload of high-yield missiles on the Empire's fuel depots. Explosions lit up the darkness, massive fireballs consuming entire sections of the staging area. Direct hits on the depots. Rivers cheered over the comms. That'll slow them down. On the bridge of the Empire's flagship, Admiral Kale slammed his fist against the console. What is happening? Who dares attack the might of the Empire? Unknown ships, sir, a panicked officer replied. They're using advanced stealth technology. We can't track them. Cal's eyes burned with fury. Find them. Destroy them. Back aboard the Erebus, Harlow watched the chaos unfold with grim satisfaction. They're scattering, he observed. Exactly as planned. Pull back the fighters and prepare for extraction. Sir, Vega interrupted. They're sending reinforcements from the outer perimeter. We don't have much time. Harlow nodded. Signal the task force. Begin retreat maneuvers. We've made our point. As the Erebus and its fleet slipped back into the shadows, the Empire's forces scrambled to regroup. What was meant to be a show of dominance had turned into a humiliation. For humanity, the battle at Helios was a turning point. It wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. The Empire had tried to intimidate Earth with its might, but humanity had shown that cunning, resilience, and determination could topple even the greatest of foes. And this was just the beginning. The Empire strikes back. The aftermath of the Helios ambush sent shockwaves through the galactic empire. Fleet Admiral Kale stood in the heart of the Imperial flagship, Dominion's Edge, his cold reptilian eyes scanning the scattered reports on the holographic display. A sea of red markers represented the damage to the Empire's forces, destroyed fuel depots, shattered communication hubs, and scattered fleets now blind and disoriented. It was humans, Kale growled, his voice a low rumble. Only they have the audacity for such a bold strike. A subordinate officer, trembling under Kale's glare, hesitated before speaking. The human ships were untraceable, sir. Their technology. Kale cut him off with a sharp wave of his clawed hand. Their technology was underestimated, as was their resolve. They'd shown their teeth. Now we will rip them out. Deep within the Imperial Command Center, Kale summoned his war council. A dozen high-ranking officials and strategists gathered around the massive tactical table. They've disrupted our plans, but they've also revealed themselves, Kale began. The humans think themselves untouchable, hiding behind their cloaking devices and guerrilla tactics. We will show them what happens when they provoke the Empire. One of the strategists, a gaunt alien with a mechanical implant over his left eye, leaned forward. Admiral, their strike was surgical. Their main fleet remains hidden. Retaliation will require precision. Cal's expression darkened. Precision is secondary. Fear is primary. They will not have time to hide when we bring our fury to Earth itself. As Kale barked orders, a hidden figure watched from the shadows of the war room. Agent Terran, a double agent embedded within the Empire, had listened to every word. The humans' Helios strike had thrown the Empire into disarray, but their response was predictable, an overwhelming show of force to crush humanity. Terran slipped out of the command center, using her clearance to access a secure terminal. She transmitted a coded message through a covered channel. Empire preparing retaliation. Full-scale assault imminent. Earth is primary target. Reinforce planetary defenses. Prepare countermeasures. Her heart raced as she sent the message. She had risked everything to join the humans' cause, and now her role was more critical than ever. Back on Earth, the message from Terran reached High Command. President Eleanor Gray read the transmission with a grim expression before turning to Commander Harlow and General Marcus Cole. "We knew this would happen," Gray said. "The question is, are we ready?" Harlow nodded. "We've fortified Earth's orbital defenses and distributed our fleet to avoid a single point of failure. But this isn't just about defense. If we sit back and wait for their attack, we'll lose the psychological edge." Cole grunted in agreement. "They're angry, which makes them reckless. We can use that against them." As Earth braced for the Empire's retaliation, the Erebus was assigned a critical mission: delay the Imperial fleet and gather intelligence on their invasion force. Harlow addressed his crew with the calm authority they had come to trust. "The Empire is coming, and they're bringing everything they've got. Our job is to slow them down. We're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting to prove that humanity cannot be cowed." Cheers erupted across the bridge, a mixture of determination and defiance. The Erebus led a small task force into the void, positioning itself near the Empire's anticipated route. Cloaked in stealth, they watched as the Imperial fleet, a monstrous armada of carriers, destroyers, and dreadnoughts, moved like a tidal wave through space. "Massive energy signatures detected," Vega reported. "They'd got planetary bombardment weapons online." Harlow's jaw tightened. "They're not planning to conquer Earth. They're planning to destroy it." As the Erebus monitored the fleet, they launched a series of hit-and-run attacks to disrupt the Empire's formation. Small human strike teams targeted key ships, sabotaging engines and creating chaos in the ranks. Kale, aboard the Dominion's Edge, was enraged. "How do they keep slipping past our defenses? Increase scanning intensity. Deploy hunter squads." But no matter how many patrols were sent out, the humans remained elusive. The turning point came when the Erebus intercepted a critical transmission. It revealed the Empire's invasion plan: the coordinated assault on Earth's orbital platforms, followed by a planet-wide bombardment. Harlow wasted no time relaying the information to Earth. "They'll hit the orbital defenses first. We need to hold the line there, or the planet won't stand a chance." As the Erebus continued its delaying tactics, the crew knew they were running out of time. The Empire's fleet was vast, and every strike brought them closer to detection. Vega turned to Harlow with a worried expression. "We've bought Earth some time, but we can't hold them off forever." Harlow nodded. "We don't need to. We just need to make them believe we're everywhere at once. Let's give them a reason to fear us." The Erebus's crew executed one final daring maneuver. Using decoy signals and holographic projections, they created the illusion of a massive human fleet surrounding the Imperial Armada. Hell's officers panicked as phantom ships appeared on their sensors, their numbers multiplying with every passing second. "It's a trap," one of them shouted. Kale slammed his fist on the console. "No, it's a trick. Hold your ground." But the damage was done. The Empire's fleet slowed as Kale ordered caution, buying Earth precious hours to fortify its defenses. As the Erebus retreated into the shadows, Harlow allowed himself a small smile. They had turned the Empire's strength against them, and now the stage was set for the ultimate confrontation: the battle for Earth. The Galactic Empire's massive fleet loomed in orbit above Earth. From the bridge of the Dominion's Edge, Fleet Admiral Kale watched the blue and green planet with a mixture of fury and resolve. The humans had eluded him, humiliated his forces, and exposed weaknesses the Empire could scarcely admit. Now he would make an example of their defiance. "Prepare the planetary bombardment array," Kale ordered, his voice cold and unwavering. On Earth, alarms blared as orbital defense stations locked onto the incoming fleet. President Eleanor Gray stood in the war room, her expression grim as she monitored the data streams. Beside her, Commander Harlow and General Marcus Cole coordinated Earth's response. "They're deploying planetary bombardment weapons," Gray said. "We can't let them fire." Cole nodded. "Our orbital platforms are armed, but they're outnumbered 5-1. We'll need every trick in the book to hold them off." Harlow leaned over the tactical display. The Erebus and its task force delayed them, but this is the main event. If we don't win here, there won't be a second chance. In low Earth orbit, Earth's defense platforms, hulking space stations bristling with weaponry, opened fire as the Empire's fleet advanced. Massive energy beams and kinetic projectiles tore through the void, striking the Empire's lead ships. The Erebus, cloaked and hidden among the chaos, relayed crucial targeting data to the platforms. Vega's voice crackled through the comms, marking priority targets, Dreadnought-class vessels moving into bombardment positions. Harlow issued the order, concentrate fire on those ships. If they take out our platforms, Earth is done for. The Empire responded with overwhelming force. Fighters swarmed the platforms, bombarding them with missiles and plasma cannons. Kel's voice echoed across the fleet's comms. Show them no mercy. Humanity's arrogance ends here. Despite the Empire's numerical superiority, the humans fought with ferocity and ingenuity. Decoy drones and electromagnetic interference disrupted enemy targeting systems, while hidden missile arrays unleashed devastating counterattacks. On the Dominion's edge, Kale paced the command deck, his frustration mounting. Why are they not breaking? These primitives shouldn't have the technology to resist us. A junior officer hesitated before speaking. Admiral, their tactics are unconventional. They're using strategies we haven't accounted for. Kel's claws raked the console. Then adapt. Bring the Annihilator forward and prepare to breach their defenses directly. The Annihilator, a super weapon capable of obliterating entire cities from orbit, moved into position. Its massive cannon began to charge, drawing energy from the surrounding fleet. On Earth, the war room fell silent as the weapon's energy signature was detected. Gray turned to Harlow. What can we do to stop that thing? Harlow's expression hardened. We'll have to take it out ourselves. The Erebus has one last trick up its sleeve. The Erebus and its escort ships launched a daring assault on the Annihilator. Cloaked and undetected, they weaved through the Empire's fleet, avoiding patrols and automated defenses. Vega's voice was steady but tense. We're in range of the superweapon, targeting core systems now. Harlow issued the command. All ships, fire at will. A barrage of missiles and energy blasts struck the Annihilator, targeting its power conduits and structural weak points. Explosions rippled across its surface as its energy core destabilized. Kel's voice roared across the Empire's comms. Protect the Annihilator. Do not let them destroy it. The Erebus took heavy fire as the Empire's ships converged on its position. Shields flickered, and the hull groaned under the strain. Shields at 30%. Vega called out. Harlow clenched his fists. We're not leaving until that weapon is neutralized. The Annihilator's core reached critical instability. A massive explosion erupted, sending shockwaves through the Empire's fleet. The weapon was destroyed, and with it, the Empire's best chance at breaking Earth's defenses. Cheers erupted on the Erebus's bridge, but the battle was far from over. Kale watched the destruction of the Annihilator with a cold, calculating gaze. Pull back the forward fleets, he ordered. This isn't over. We'll regroup and crush them with overwhelming force. On Earth, the war room erupted in applause as the Annihilator was confirmed destroyed. But President Gray silenced the celebration with a raised hand. This is only the beginning, she said. The Empire will come back stronger. We need to prepare for what's next. The cost of defiance. The remnants of the Imperial fleet retreated to the far side of Earth's orbit, their formation broken but not defeated. Aboard the Dominion's edge, Admiral Kale brooded over the tactical display, his claws tapping a slow rhythm on the edge of the command console. The Annihilator was gone, and with it, the Empire's most devastating weapon. Kel's subordinates remained silent, fearing the wrath simmering just below their leader's calm exterior. Finally, he spoke. This battle is not lost, Kale growled. The humans have proven resilient, but they've paid a price for their defiance. They think they've won. Let them savor this moment. It will be their last. Back on Earth, the destruction of the Annihilator had given humanity a momentary reprieve. Crowds gathered in cities to celebrate the victory, waving flags and cheering the names of their defenders. But in the war room of Earth's High Command, the atmosphere was far less jubilant. President Eleanor Gray surveyed the room, her expression grim. "We've bought ourselves time, but at what cost?" General Marcus Cole stood beside her, a report in hand. "Our orbital platforms took heavy damage. Several are offline, and the rest are operating at reduced capacity. The Erebus is in critical condition. Commander Harlow and his crew barely made it out alive." Gray turned to the comm officer. "What's the latest from the fleet?" The officer glanced at her console. "The Erebus is undergoing emergency repairs. Commander Harlow has requested a direct line to High Command." On the Erebus, Harlow stood in the dimly lit command room, his uniform stained with soot and blood. The ship's once pristine interior was now scarred with burn marks and exposed wiring. Harlow's face appeared on the war room's central screen. "Madam President," he began, his voice steady despite the fatigue visible in his eyes. "The Annihilator is gone, but the Empire isn't finished. Their fleet is regrouping. We estimate they'll be ready to strike again in less than 72 hours. Gray nodded. "What do you propose, Commander?" Harlow's gaze hardened. "We can't wait for them to come to us. We need to take the fight to their staging ground before they're ready. If we strike fast, we can cripple their fleet and force them to retreat." The room erupted into debate. Some argued for a defensive stance, citing Earth's limited resources and the need to rebuild. Others supported Harlow's plan, recognizing the importance of keeping the enemy off balance. Finally, Gray raised her hand to silence the room. "Commander Harlow is right. We can't afford to wait. General Cole, assemble a strike team. Harlow, your crew has been through hell, but I need you to lead this mission. Can you do it?" Harlow nodded. "We'll be ready." Preparations began immediately. The Erebus's engineers worked around the clock to patch the ship's systems, while supply ships delivered ammunition, fuel, and reinforcements. Harlow addressed his crew, their faces lined with exhaustion, but burning with determination. "This isn't just about survival," he said. "It's about showing the Empire that humanity doesn't back down. We've already proven we can fight. Now we're going to prove we can win." The crew erupted into cheers, their spirits lifted by Harlow's words. Meanwhile, in the shadows of Earth's defense network, Terran, the double agent embedded in the Empire, worked tirelessly to extract crucial information. Using her clearance codes, she accessed classified Imperial transmissions and discovered a chilling truth. The Empire was preparing a secret weapon, one even more destructive than the Annihilator. Terran transmitted the data to High Command with an urgent warning. "Empire developing new superweapon. Target unknown. Timeframe unknown. Action required immediately." The revelation sent shockwaves through Earth's leadership. Gray called an emergency meeting with Harlow and General Cole. "This changes everything," Gray said. "If this weapon is operational, even a preemptive strike might not be enough." Harlow leaned forward, his expression resolute. "Then we find it and destroy it, whatever it takes." As the clock ticked down, the Erebus launched with a small but determined strike force. Their target was an Imperial forward base hidden in the asteroid belt, a critical supply hub for the Empire's fleet. If they could take it out, they would cripple the Empire's ability to sustain their assault. Harlow addressed his crew one last time before the mission. "This is our chance to turn the tide. They think we're weak. They think we're afraid. Let's show them what it means to face humanity." The Erebus and its fleet jumped into the darkness of space, their destination shrouded in danger and uncertainty. Humanity's wrath. The Erebus and its strike fleet emerged from hyperspace, their darkened hulls blending with the void. Before them loomed the asteroid belt, and hidden among the drifting rocks, the Empire's forward base. Scanners revealed a formidable defensive network, energy turrets, drone swarms, and a patrol fleet of heavily armed Imperial cruisers. Commander Harlow stood on the bridge of the Erebus, his face illuminated by the glow of tactical displays. All ships maintain radio silence. We go in quiet, hit fast, and get out. Our priority is the destruction of their supply network, and if possible, we find that superweapon. From her position in Earth's intelligence division, Turin monitored the fleet's progress. She had intercepted more transmissions hinting at the weapon's development. Its name sent chills through her, the Celestial Lance. Turin's message reached Harlow moments before his fleet engaged. Weapon status: active prototype, likely housed in Central Base. Proceed with caution. Harlow read the message, his jaw tightening. If it's there, we destroy it, no matter the cost. The Erebus's cloaked drones slipped into the asteroid field first, feeding data back to the fleet. They mapped out key targets, fuel depots, ammunition stockpiles, and the main base's command center. All ships, engage on my mark, Harlow said. He waited, letting the Empire's patrols pass by unsuspecting. Then he gave the order. Mark. The fleet sprang into action. Missiles streaked through the void, finding their marks with deadly precision. Explosions ripped through the asteroid base as fuel depots ignited, sending shockwaves through the Imperial defenses. Imperial ships scrambled to respond, their formations breaking as human fighters swarmed them. The Erebus targeted the base's command center, its main cannon unleashing a devastating energy blast. Command center neutralized, Vega reported, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. But then the sensors picked up something ominous. An energy surge from deep within the asteroid base. On the Dominion's edge, Admiral Kale watched the battle unfold from a secure location. He had anticipated this move and prepared accordingly. Activate the Celestial Lance, Kale ordered. Let them see the full power of the Empire. Deep within the asteroid base, the prototype weapon powered up. The Celestial Lance was a colossal energy cannon, capable of vaporizing entire fleets in one shot. Its charging sequence sent ripples of energy across the battlefield, and every ship, human and Imperial alike, turned their attention to its growing glow. Harlow stared at the display, the enormity of the threat dawning on him. That's it, he said. That's the weapon. General Cole's voice came through the comms. Can you take it out? Harlow nodded grimly. We don't have a choice. The Erebus and its fleet concentrated their firepower on the asteroid housing the Celestial Lance. Imperial ships moved to block their advance, sacrificing themselves to buy time for the weapon to charge. Enemy reinforcements inbound. Vega called out. Hold the line, Harlow shouted. The Erebus weaved through the chaos, its shields flickering as it took hit after hit. Harlow knew they couldn't sustain this for long. Prepare the kamikaze drones, he ordered. The bridge crew hesitated for a moment. The kamikaze drones were Earth's last resort weapons, small, fast, and armed with enough explosives to obliterate a small moon. Deploy them now, Harlow barked. The drones shot out from the Erebus, darting through the asteroid field toward the Celestial Lance. Imperial ships fired wildly, trying to intercept them, but the drones were too small and too fast. The lead drone struck the Celestial Lance's energy core. For a moment, the battlefield went silent as the weapon's charging sequence faltered. Then, a massive explosion erupted, consuming the asteroid and the Imperial ships nearby. On the Dominion's edge, Cal's eyes widened in disbelief as his greatest weapon was reduced to a cloud of debris. Admiral, a subordinate stammered, our forces are in disarray. Orders. Cal clenched his fists, his voice low and venomous. Retreat. The surviving Imperial fleet vanished into hyperspace, leaving the shattered asteroid field behind. Cheers erupted on the Erebus and across Earth's high command. Humanity had not only survived, they had dealt the Empire a crippling blow. But on the bridge of the Erebus, Harlow remained silent. He looked at the casualties list scrolling across the screen, the names of the men and women who had given everything for this victory. "This isn't over," he said quietly. "They'll be back. And next time, they'll be even more dangerous."